There's always a common question among new teams with new head coaches, new quarterbacks, newer quarterbacks with guys like Justin Fields. There's always a question. Can they win now? I got to be honest. I've been listening to a couple of different guys on ESPN over the radio and just kind of thinking, okay, just kind of taking what they have to say and kind of hoping what I get on the other side. One of the things I heard the many times is that, the Bears aren't in a position to win right now. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I also think at the same time, we have seen stranger things happen. We have seen a lot of stranger things happen. Like the Bears, to me, I don't want to say it, they're not underrated by any stretch of the imagination. They need more help offensively, and I just think it's way too much for Justin Fields to be able to do it all by himself. But I think a bigger thing that needs to be looked at here is the fact that the Bears have a pretty solid defense. Like it's not, it wasn't the Khalil Mack defense of a couple of years ago, but they've got some dudes now. Like they've got some guys that I think can at least hold down the fort, if not make these things close. We talk about what they did in terms of getting Kyler Gordon in the draft. Also, obviously their defensive line is respectable with Khyiris Tonga. I like what I saw at him last year. Robert Quinn is coming back. And I felt like specifically what they did in the draft. I'm not gonna sleep on the Bears, but at the same time, I'm not necessarily gonna put them on the top tier. Again, the question is, can they win now? I wouldn't put it past them, but at the same time, I'm not betting on it. I think that they need another year to be able to continue to rebuild, help out that offensive line. You have Dakota Dozier as your penciled in as your starting right guard. Not good. As a Vikings fan, I can tell you that's not the recipe for success. Nothing against Dakota Dozier, but we saw him in both categories, both at left and right side, wasn't his cup of tea. But I do think he is good enough to be able to get the job done for a year before the Bears bring in a competent starting right guard that can take over from there. Because I think in the end of the day, there's been a lot of talk about what the Bears will look like. I think they'll have some of the highest amount of cap space next year. They'll have a young quarterback. They'll have, Velus Jones Jr., who I think is going to surprise a lot more people than I think a lot of people are going to give him credit for. He's going to surprise a lot of people, let's put it that way. Also, I love Darnell Mooney. I've loved him ever since, he came out of the draft. I felt like he was honestly, didn't get near the credit that he deserved coming out of Tulane, but it is what it is at this point. But I feel like if they can get some sort of offensive line help, if the Bears can start there, I think Justin Fields can figure the rest of it out. I don't think they need superstar wide receivers to be able to put up 30 points again because, in all honesty, I don't think your defense is going to let up more than 22, 23 points a game. On the flip side of that, I think if their defense plays up to the way that it can, yes, I do absolutely think it can be one of those defenses that comes in and does just enough for your offense not to have to do a lot. But in a year, I think when you talk about all the players that they could sign, all the different things that we'll be looking for in the draft in terms of helping out that offensive line, bringing in another wide receiver. And I know they got Byron Pringle, Equanimeous St. Brown, Daz Newsome as well, but I think at the end of the day, the question now becomes is, do we legitimately see the Chicago Bears as legitimate contenders this year? I don't know. My gut says no, but at the same time, we said the same thing about the Giants back in 2007 when they beat the Patriots. Like they had Eli Manning, they had a good defense, but it was what it was. So I'm not fully ready to write off the Chicago Bears, but I'm also not ready to pencil them in as a team that's going to immediately shock everybody. So to answer the question, can the Bears win now? I think yes. Under the right circumstances, that defense helps out because, let's face it, Justin Fields ain't going to get a lot of help from this offense. I'm sorry, this offensive line is not what this young quarterback coming out of Ohio State signed up for. I know they're still in the development stages, but if there's anybody that can come in and fix it, I think it's Ryan Poles. I think for especially this year, I don't think it needs to be amazing because you've got an athletic quarterback for some reason. He can escape a lot of pressure. He can escape a lot of different things and do some different things with his legs. So I think the Bears can find a way to win now, but if I'm betting, I would say no. But I do also think that next year is going to be tempting. We're talking about a team that will have a lot of cap space, will have a lot of ability. Probably this year looking at a top 5 pick. If we're being honest. So and plus, we have seen stranger things happen. We saw the Giants beat the undefeated Patriots. People forget about that. But at the end of the day, I think the Bears could shock some people, but also don't get your hopes up. But I do think it would be foolish just to write off the Chicago Bears just because. So, I'm excited for the season, but I do think there is a lot of pressure on a guy like Justin Fields. But let us know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. In the description down below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. Give us a like and a follow there. Also remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at sportsbp@yahoo.com or put in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about if the Chicago Bears can win now.